asking one, not much. How about you? Hi, I'm John Ford Coley. Go straight to the top of the charts.
Go straight to the top of the charts. Go straight to the top of the charts. From 10 to 1, you gotta show number 1 when you go straight to the top of the charts. Top of the charts, top of the charts. That song's gonna climb to the top. When you go straight to the top of the charts. When you go straight to the top of the charts. When you go straight to the top, right to the top. When you go straight to the top of the charts.
Welcome, John Ford Coley. We take our hat off to you. What a fantastic introduction to the show. And let me say, you look $1 million, John.
Thank you. It's all that pie.
I love the shirt. I love the shirt. It's really, really cool.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, John, I just want to say,
now you're this sensation. Are you in Melbourne?
Yeah, Melbourne, Australia.
And
I'm in London.
You're in Surrey.
Hey?
And you're in Surrey in England?
Yes,
I'm in London.
In England.
You're in London. Well, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
not far from Richmond.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. My parents, my grandparents came from Stepney. Of course, I don't think you know them. They left about 1610, I think, and went to Jamestown. So you probably don't know them.
That's East London. Yeah.
Okay.
Fantastic. Now, John, I just want to say, you had one of the biggest hits with I'd Really Love to See You Tonight. And every time that song comes on the radio, your ears just open up. Tell me the story behind that song, how you nearly came to not record it. Let's hear it all about it.
Well, first of all, Dan and I didn't really want to record anything that we didn't write. And this song was written by a gentleman by the name of Parker McGee. Mm. So we didn't really want to do the song simply because we thought it was more of a feminine song. And they said, no, try it, do it. Just humor us here. And we went, okay. So we had the guys come in, actually ended up being in Toto. Jeff Porcaro played drums on it. David Page played piano on it. Louis Shelton, was part of the Wrecking Crew. And so we did it. It took off. And I'm sitting there going, John, don't ever turn something down again, so that's how it came about. I mean, we really God just kind of kissed us, just reached down and kissed us on the head, and it just kind of took off.
I got to say, now, Shelton, right? He's the greatest. He actually lives in Australia, in Queensland. A big hello to you, Louis. We love you. Played on the Monkeys, played on, as I said, Michael Jackson, played on everybody, including this song. I mean, how great is that?
Yeah.
That he's in Australia.
Well, Louis was the first one to produce us, really, as England Dan and John Ford Coley. He liked what we did. Jimmy Seals, Dan's brother, gave him a tape. He listened to it. He took it over to Herb Alpert. Herb Alpert, he said it's kind of a cross between Simon Garfunkel and the Bee Gees at that time. And Herb said, well, we're not really interested in that. And he said, no, just take it, listen to it. So the story comes back is that Herb was shaving. He was the head of A&M Records, Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. And so he was shaving. He stopped shaving as he was listening to the song. He called Louis and said, Louis, get him out here. And that's how we ended up on A&M Records for those years. And kind of got started. Louis was the one that produced our records on A&M.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And how many albums did you do in total, John?
Gosh, I think we're probably coming up on 20 albums, with all the things that people would put on compilations and things like that. I mean, I've got 3 brand new ones myself. So it's fun to continue to record like that.
That's amazing. And I got to say, it is your biggest hit because everybody just knows the song. It's like a song you can't get away from. It grabs you and holds you as a listener.
We were so blessed on that. I mean, the thing that I would wish for anyone in the world is to have a song that second it starts, everyone in the world recognizes it.
Yeah.
That's one of the greatest gifts I've ever gotten.
Now, I've got to ask the sensational Ben to tell you about your fantastic chart success. Have a listen to this, John.
Okay.
So, John, 2 weeks was on the Billboard 100, number 2.
Yeah.
So, and number ones in other places too. I just wanted to, was it ever re-released at any time? Because it's such a great song. I mean, everybody loves it. And sometimes hits like that get re-released, or, there's another twist on it. There's another version of it, another cover of it, or something. You just tweak it a little bit and just make it a little bit different and re-release it. I just wondered about that.
We had a couple of people that did it. Barry Manilow did a version of it. Also, I think Tim McGraw did a country version of it. There's been several people that have done it. But as far as Dan and I were doing it, Dan did it on one of his records called In a Quiet Room. He took an acoustic version to it. And then I did it on the best of John Ford Coley from the Philippines.
Right.
And that's the only time that we've ever done it. And I play it all the time. Every night that I play.
That must be the first song on the set list. Or is it
actually it's next to the last song on the set list. I have to kind of work my way up,
Yeah. And also my second favorite one is Love Is the Answer. It's just so lovely. And so number 10 in the USA. That was 1977. Wow.
Right. No, I said 79.
79. Sorry, beg your pardon.
Actually, they brought us that song. The record company came to us. I was a huge Todd Rundgren fan. I'd always loved the things that he had done.
Yeah.
And he's still one of my favorite artists. But when they brought that to us, I went, "You got to be kidding me! That's Rundgren. That's Utopia."
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah," because again, it contained elements of country. Of classical, of rock, of gospel. It had so many different musical styles in it. And then again, it's a very spiritually ambiguous lyric on it. But I mean, I love to play that song. And what's so great about it is that when you hear that, whoa. So I get really excited about it.
It just grabs you straight away. It really does. It just really brings you in straight away. It's wonderful. And so can I ask you about the collaboration with Dan with Marie Osmond on the country number? Because that was Meet Me in Montana. And I'm a big Osmonds supporter fan. I love all the Osmonds. I've seen Donnie Marie a couple of times, but I love Marie's country style. So how did that collaboration come about? Do you know?
I have no idea. Dan and I split about 1980. And when we did, about 82, 83, he went into the country music field. Mm-hmm. And that was something that he did with Marie Osmond years later. And I really was not involved in that at all. Mm-hmm. I mean, Dan went on to have a really wonderful country career. That was pretty much where he should have been in the first place. Because again, he had that great country voice.
Yeah, and so you formed another group, didn't you? Later on with a couple of your sisters, was it that you teamed up with to make another group, another band?
I did actually. One of them was my girlfriend, and the other one was her sister.
Oh, okay.
And we did one album on A&M, and then the group pretty much broke up after that, and I went off on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Now, John, I just want to ask you, when this song, I'd really love to see it tonight, was a hit and took off all over the world, can you tell me what that feeling was like when you went straight to the top of the charts? You got to tell me what it was like and what you did.
You just continue to pinch yourself, and look and see if you've got 11 fingers and you're in a dream, like behind her eyes or something. It's, you really don't know how to relate to it. You're walking down the street and you're going, man, we got, a gold album. It's like, whoa, now what do we do? I think that's probably the biggest challenge that you've got is how do you follow this up?
Was there pressure then to come up with a second song or just fell naturally?
Well, actually, the funny thing about it, was the second song was also written by Parker McGee. Now there's a thing called Nights Are Forever Without You. Now the funny thing for me about it was that, again, Dan and I only wanted to do the songs that we had recorded, but I think all of the records that we had recorded of the songs we had written, I'd made about $1.98. That was about it. And so we're getting nice big checks off of Really Love to See You Tonight. And so they showed us Nights Are Forever, and I found myself going, hey, Parker, what else you got, buddy? And I'm not stupid here, you know. So, because again, most people don't realize that the object of being in music is to actually make money so you can continue to be in music. Otherwise, you're going to have to go do something else.
Brilliant.
It's amazing. And I'm just saying, when you were playing concerts and live, how is that feeling with you and the fans at that point with a big hit? I mean, there must have been so much love out there, because this is like a real love song. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great feeling, because when they sing the songs back to you and you can hear them singing, or you stop and you just kind of direct them a little bit. Again, it's the most amazing feeling in the world that you've had an effect somewhere, and something that you've done actually touch people in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got to say, we need that song now more than ever. Don't you agree, Sabine?
Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to say that just came into my head that, you know, with these kind of gorgeous songs, fabulous songs, is that they always hit the emotional notes, you know, and people must come up to you and say, hey, you know, this brings such memories back for me, or is connected to something, and it's you know, it just brings me there every time when I hear this song, and that must be so wonderful to hear that feedback from your fans.
Well, it really is. So I had an agent call me one time, and she said, John, I've got a deal. They would like for you to play a wedding. And I went, oh, go, leave me alone.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even want to deal with this. And she said, no, you got to hear the story. So the guy and the girl, this was their song back in high school. He moved away. They ended up getting married to different people. Then years later on, they got divorced, and they somehow connected up with one another again. Now they're getting married, and he said, would you play the song? And I went, I can't pass that one up. I mean,
that's
I'll
wonderful.
come play that.
That's truly wonderful.
So,
I love that.
That must have been an amazing experience. This is why songs touch people so much. And when you get through to people and they come back to you and you get the feedback and you get the love, it's like, I can't describe it. It must be just such a great feeling that you wake up every day and that song's playing all around the world, or whatever song you've done, and you go and you're thinking to yourself, well, you know, what a great song, and how lucky I am to put out a song like that the whole world embraces, especially in these times.
Well, the thing is that when you realize there's so many artists that never get the opportunity to go out there. I mean, there's people that can play me under the table. They can sing me under the table. For some reason, they didn't get the opportunity. I don't know why. So you don't think that I don't wake up in the morning and go, thank you. Thank you. You know, this is
meant for you.
It's just kind of meant to think. I don't believe in coincidences at all. So you meet people, you come across different subjects. I mean, I just don't understand how it happens. I just don't believe in coincidences.
That's what happens when success hits you. Now, John, let's move forward now. Have you got 3 albums currently out, or where are we now with the new music? Tell me all about it and your links, and tell all your fans anything you want to tell them.
Several years ago, I did an entire album series, a CD series. It's called Eclectic, and it's 26 brand new songs. I've got these songs sitting around, and I wanted to do something with them, and I recorded those. Then I had, so that's Eclectic. Then I had a friend of mine, when I played in Israel and in Los Angeles, wanted to record these things. So we did a live album. So that's called Long Way Home, live in Israel and Los Angeles. Well, recently I was at the house here, and the producer that I've been using, Tom Worth, he came over. I'm just checking out old songs. I just want to kind of, reviewing stuff. And I said, hey, Tom, what do you think of this song? And I played it for him. He went, man, that's a great song. What are you doing with that? And I said, nothing. I said, what about this one? Play him another one. He said, what are you doing with these things? And I said, oh, they're just all sitting in the drawer collecting dust like everybody else's. And he said, they're all demos, right? And I said, they're all demos. You know, you're hoping to get somebody to record them. I'm not trying to make a hit out of them in the way with me. I'm just putting them down. And he said, you need to release this. So we picked 10 of the first songs. It's called Sketches, Volume 1. It's just the songs that I had. And it was such a great idea because now they're not just sitting there that no one will ever hear. So we're going to do Volume 1, 2, 3, and 4 and just kind of keep it going like that. If I've got a new song periodically, we'll add that in. But I mean, I've had so much fun with this because it shows that, well, first of all, when you're out, when you're not in the limelight any longer, you're not on radio as the number one event or poster child, let's say, for that week. Everybody thinks, well, what happened to them? I mean, you know, are they all working construction, or they're just probably gone? So they forget about you. You're continually working. You're doing all kinds of music all the time. I had done a thing called Major League 3, Back to the Minors. And I wrote the opening song on that show. Well, they had another artist come in as a country artist, and Mike Curb, who was the record company president of this kid, he's coming in to see what's going on. And so we're introduced to one another. He didn't really know a whole lot about me. And he's a suit. I'm a musician, you know, so we're just kind of like this. We don't connect. And he said, well, are you still in music? And I thought, hands down, that's got to be the dumbest question I've ever been asked. And I looked at him and I said, no, it's kind of like being in the mob. You know, you take a blood oath. And he's like, oh, well, okay. You know, he's like, how do I get out of here? I just said, yeah, I wrote the song. And he went, oh, okay. I mean, it's hilarious because people think you're not doing anything anymore. You just, you know, you're gone. It's not true.
Yeah, the music's in you, and that's it. The music never goes, and you continue. Now, what I want to ask you is, from what I observe, right, fantastic piano playing, but you play the guitar too. So when you started learning an instrument, did you actually move towards both those instruments, or were you more guitar and then you went to piano, or did you go from piano to guitar? How did it come to you, the music?
I actually came from piano to guitar. I was trained classically. I've been playing since I was about 6. So Bach and Beethoven, I mean, I still play those things all the time. And guitar came later on. I ended up in a band with Dan. And I came in as a piano player. And then later on picked up guitar, and Dan and I kind of started doing the duo thing with the guitar. When we were in London, we played at Corydon Hall with Elton John. He took us there for a month, like the end of 1971. And they would not allow me to play piano because Elton was playing piano, which was fine with me. So we just played the guitars, you know. But I mean, and people have asked me, which is your favorite instrument, the piano or the guitar? And it's kind of like, well, I don't know, you know, who do you love the most, your mommy or your daddy? I play them both all the time. So it's a great source of enjoyment and relaxation. And I just enjoy the process of creating.
Yeah. And also acting, there's acting in your background too.
I did that as well. I played the drummer in a band in a film called Scenes from the Gold Mine. So Timothy B. Schmidt, the bass player from the Eagles and Poco, he was the bass player. I don't know anything about drums. I'm having to learn how to play the drums. So they gave me the kit after they had recorded all the songs, and I'm sitting listening to those songs, learning how to do each song. So I learned it from the beginning to the end. We get on the set the first day, and they said, okay, we're taking this song. We're going to start on the second half of the first course. And I went, whoa, wait a minute. You know, what did I do? No, you got to play it down from the top so I know what I'm doing. I said, let me listen to it so I know what I'm doing. I mean, but it was so much fun because, again, the thing that I enjoyed about acting more than anything else is you have day players. And so people are always coming in. It's a new person, new person, new person. And you get all kinds of jokes all the time, jokes every day from somebody new. And the one thing that I remembered the most from that was there was a young girl that had 2 days worth of work, Pam Springsteen. Pam is the sister of Bruce Springsteen.
Uh-huh.
So we just hit it off. We just connected. You know, she and I were just like right on top of one another. We just like brother and sister. And so she's telling me, you know, I'm working really hard. I'm trying all the time. I'm taking acting classes. I'm trying to get out from under Bruce's shadow. And you know, it's just, it takes a lot of time, but I think I'm going to get it. So I'm encouraging her.
Yeah.
The next day she comes in, runs over to me, and she goes, John, I talked to my brother Bruce last night. He knows who you are. He wants to write with you. He says he'd like to maybe play with you sometime if you guys get together, and for me to give you his telephone number. And I said, really? And she said, no, I was just acting. But tell me, did you believe me? And I'm going, you're going to die. You're going to die right here.
I believed you. I believed you had me going there.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do? It's like, God, I thought I had an in with Bruce Springsteen. Then I got nothing. So
did you follow that up, and did you meet Bruce?
I never
Eventually.
I've never been a fan of his music, but I never met him.
Oh, he's amazing.
I mean, but there was a lot of people on that film. You know, it's like I've been fortunate enough to work with people like Corey Feldman, the Corey Haim, did a deal called Dream a Little Dream, got to throw Corey Feldman down the stairs. That was great. You know, had a really nice kissing scene with Susan Blakely, but they took it out.
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
I mean, and that was funny because her husband is sitting right over here, you know, watching this whole thing being filmed. And I'm going, oh, gosh, man, he's going to kill me. I know. But, yeah, you just come up with a lot of funny things on films.
Now, John, we just got to read this text out to you from Kiddo Tool. This is how you affect people, right? Can you read that out, please, a bit?
Yeah, so great to see you, John Ford Coley. Big part of my 70s youth. Thank you for the music.
Thank you.
There you go. And I've also got Charles Rosenet, our very good friend. We love him. He loves us.
John Ford Coolness. Great guest.
Thank you.
Now, this is what happens, John. They come in from everywhere. When you got someone great on and you're just inspiring people with what you're doing. But let me tell you, when you're writing songs, I've got to ask you your process. Is it you go towards the piano, you play, you pick up the guitar, or it comes in your head and then you've got an idea of what the melody is? How do you actually come to the formation of a song yourself?
Normally, I'll start with the music first. I just get inspired. I play, like I said, all the time. I don't really practice. I just kind of play. And so there's always something new that's going to pop up. It's like, you know, for example, there was one song that I was playing in the Philippines. I was just practicing. I was about to go on on a television interview, and I'm just doing what I'm doing, just messing around. I meant to hit one chord. I hit something else, and I went, whoa. I got to remember, what is that? It's a B, it's a B minor over a da-da-da-da-da. And then later on, the lyrics came. I've also had songs that I've attempted to write, one on the Eclectic album, actually two on the Eclectic album. One of them took me 12 years to write. I tried to write it, nothing would come. I would put it away, I tried to write it with somebody else. It didn't work. Went back to what I was doing originally. 12 years later, bingo, it just pops. So you have to be very patient with those things. And if you're writing with somebody else, it's a lot easier because you've got someone to bounce off of. Yeah. But for me, when I write by myself, it just takes an inordinately long time.
John, can you tell everybody now your links, where you are, wherever they can buy your music now? Just tell all the fans.
Yes, I'm at the brutally handsome and humble John Ford Coley. I'm joking. Actually, it's just johnfordcoley.com. And you can find product on there. We put up little stories every now and then. People really, you know, have a short attention span these days, me included. So we write short things. That's how we do that. But it's johnfordcoley.com.
Now, John, before we go, would you be kind enough to play your follow-up hit from I'd Really Love to See It Tonight? Just a little bit on the piano, and then I'll take out the show with our theme song. And if you can just stay there for a moment, we appreciate that. Would you do that?
I'll tell you what, let me do Love Is the Answer, because the guitar is a little different thing. Let's see. Boy, that's high in the morning. So that's kind of how that went.
Oh, that's
thank you, John Ford Coley, for being on. Go straight to the top of the charts. It's been our pleasure. Just stay there for a moment. We salute you. We love you. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Go straight to the top of the charts.